Heyo everyone, it's Frigadu99 and today I have a beautiful Void Titan build for you to close out the season with. This endgame build has possibly the best ability regen and survivability you could get out of Void as you run around tanking and destroying every piece of content you step into. And not only that, but it's perfect for any team as the constant overshielding and debuffing helps make any activity a breeze for you and your allies. Of course, if you need a picture of the full build, there's one at the end of the video, along with a dim link in the description for easy saving and copying. Without further ado, let's jump into the build, starting off with this subclass. First up, we got our super Ward of Dawn, also known as the Bubble. The Bubble is amazing for any piece of content as we have insanely high super regen, so you can use it a lot, and just by passing through it, you and your allies get a 25% weapon damage buff that lasts for 15 seconds. This can be refreshed as many times as you want by stepping back into the bubble, so set it down at a spot that's easy to get to, and just try not to blow up your teammates with it if they have rocket launchers. Then for our class ability, we got Rally Barricade for the lower cooldown and bonuses it gives while standing behind it. The reload speed is really handy for any weapon, and its slower cooldown is important as we're wanting to use it as much as possible due to having the aspect Bastion. Now to our melee, we go ahead and grab Shield Throw for its quick use time and range. Each hit gives us a third of our health bar back as overshield and can ricochet up to 3 times for a full overshield. Also, being able to toss it out from a distance is much handier in deadlier content, as having to get a sprint start for Shield Bash can be a little clunky. And for our grenade, we go ahead and pick up Vortex Grenade for its linger damage, and since we have crazy high grenade regen, we can afford to take the higher cooldown. It's really strong in all scenarios, whether it's tossing at a stunned champion or just at your feet while behind your barricade to clear anything surrounding you. It's always really good to have and really good to use. Now for our first aspect, we pick up the previously mentioned Bastion, which makes our barricade grant us and close by allies a full Void Overshield. The barricade itself continually grants overshield while behind it, so you can tank a lot of damage by being close to it. It does also increase the Rally Barricade cooldown from 38 seconds to 80, but it's really no issue as we have many ways of regenning our abilities. And then for our second aspect, we have Offensive Bulwark, which grants bonuses for us having an overshield. We get 400% additional base grenade regen, 100% increased melee damage, and increased melee lunge range to 5.5 meters. It also makes unpowered melee hits count as powered, so it would proc something like Impact Induction. The grenade regen is huge, and then with the melee buffs it gives, it makes it way easier to get powered melee hits off, as well as takedowns. Now down to the fragment, we have Echo of Starvation, so picking up an Orb of Power or a Void Breach will give us Devour for 5 seconds. Devour is a void buff that makes it so any takedown fully heals you, grants grenade energy based on their enemy rank, and extends its own duration by 5 seconds, up to a maximum of 11. This just increases our survivability tenfold. Then Echo of Cessation makes it so takedowns on volatile enemies spawn Void Breaches, which we want as Void Breaches give 12.5% barricade energy. They have a 5-second cooldown on creation, but this ensures that we get our barricade back really fast even with Bastion's increased cooldown. Then Echo of Instability gives us volatile rounds on grenade takedowns, and they last for 10 seconds. This lets us spawn Void Breaches with our Void weapons from Echo of Cessation, and also lets them apply volatile, which causes some crazy explosions and damage. It also makes Void weapons have anti-barrier if they don't already have something, so it allows us to use some more weapons when trying stuff out. And then Echo of Exchange gives grenade energy on powered melee takedowns based on their rank. With Shield Throw this would be hard, but the Offensive Bulwark makes our melee hits count as powered, so we can rack up a lot of grenade energy just by punching a few enemies or thralls. This also stacks with Impact Induction, which we're running, so a melee hit can sometimes refill your entire grenade charge after a single takedown. And that does it for the subclass, and on to the weapons. Starting off, our main weapon of choice is actually going to be Deterministic Chaos, for its ability to weaken and volatile enemies with no setup. Since we aren't using Rapid Fire Ranger or Echo of Undermining most of the time, we need another way to weaken, and Deterministic Chaos is perfect for the job. It's a high impact, so it's got great range, damage, and ammo economy that can last you through the whole activity, and it's also overload machine guns, so it gets the overcharge buff for that 25% damage bonus and can help stun champions as well. Now for some weapons to pair with it, you have Under Your Skin, which is a fantastic void bow that can run Archer's Tempo and Explosive Head, plus volatile rounds, and this weapon cleans up enemies in any activity level. Now you also have Bria's Love, a really great void scout rifle that can run Keep Away or Rapid Hit, and then Explosive Payload. It's perfect for people who don't have Doom of Chelchis from King's Fall, and in some ways could even be better, so make sure to pick it up from Season of the Witch. Then for kinetic weapons, you can run your favorite slot fusion rifle like Riptide, or another primary to deal with champions. Anything with osmosis is really good, as then you can run triple void weapons for some really fun times with those volatile rounds. And that'll do for the weapons, and on to the artifact perks, where we can pick up 4 anti-champion perks for the weapons we run. These also give the weapons overcharge, so in legend and harder activities they get a 25% damage buff. We also pick up Origin Perk Specialization 1, so weapons from Lightfall, Season of the Deep, Season of the Witch, and Crota's End get enhanced Origin trait effects. These can be pretty big, so it's good to have on you, especially since we're running Bria's Love a lot of the time. And then we also pick up Origin Perk Specialization 2, so those same weapons get the overcharge buff, and then Elemental Orbs Void, so we can make more enemies volatile and explode. Then for column 4, we go ahead and grab Overload Machine Guns for the stun and overcharge buff, Elemental Fury for the 35% increased ability damage, and 70% increased elemental orb damage on stunned champions, which makes our Vortex Grenade absolutely shred them. And then if we're using a bow or scout rifle, we pick up Semi-Auto Striker for free armor charges. If not, then we go ahead and grab Refreshing Pickups for 33% ability energy on Elemental Orb pickup. And then for column 5, we grab Monochromatic Maestro for our 10% void weapon damage buff on ability damage, and 10% ability damage buff on void weapon damage. The extra damage is always nice to have, and then we grab Elemental Embrace, which gives plus 50 in recovery and 50% void damage resist while we have Devour active, which is pretty much constantly. And that does it for the artifact perks. Now on to the armor and mods. Starting off with the helmet, we go ahead and grab Harmonic Siphon, so our void weapon takedown spawn orbs of power, Ashes to Assets, so all our vortex grenades generates bonus super energy, and Font of Wisdom, so while we have an armor charge, we get a plus 30 in intellect for more Word of Dawns. Now for stat focusing, we want to get 100 resilience for the 30% damage resistance, as well as the lower barricade cooldown. Then we want high discipline, so we can throw our vortex grenade as much as possible, so we can also get volatile rounds whenever we need it. And then we get our recovery up to 40 or 50, but no higher, as we have Elemental Embrace, which gives the plus 50 in recovery. All the rest can go into strength. Onto the gauntlets, we have Bolstering Detonation for 20% barricade energy on grenade damage, and Impact Induction for 20% grenade energy on melee damage. These both have a 7-second cooldown, but ensure we keep our ability regen cycle. Then Firepower, so we can spawn orbs of power with our vortex grenades. Down to the chest piece, we have our exotic Heart of Inmost Light, which gives us our insane ability regeneration. Whenever we use an ability, it empowers the other two for 5 seconds and increases their damage and regen rate. This can go to even ×2 for even more damage and regen speed, making it ideal for you to use your melee and barricade first before your vortex grenade, so it regens faster and gets more damage from it. Just spam your abilities whenever they charge, so you continue the empowered ability loop as much as possible. And then for mods, we go ahead and grab 2 elemental resistance mods for the 25% damage resistance against whatever the threat modifier is. So for void threat, we go ahead and grab double void resistance, and then for our third mod, we pick whatever resistance you'll think you'll have trouble with, for a 15% damage resistance against that type. Down to the legs, we grab double void weapon surge for a 17% increase to damage while we have an armor charge. This plus our weaken and overcharge gives us some big numbers on our deterministic chaos. And then we grab a recuperation as always for a burst of health whenever we pick up an orb of power. And then for our Titan mark, we grab Bomber and Outreach for 12.5% grenade and melee energy when we cast our barricade. This helps keep our ability regen cycle. And then we grab Powerful Attraction, so on our barricade cast, we collect all orbs of power within 12.5 meters of us. This ensures we actually get all the orbs we're actually creating. And that does it for the build. As we approach Season of the Wish, I wanted these builds to be able to take on whatever drops day 1, and this build will be sure to have you covered. It's perfect at buffing you and your allies' health and damage while also taking down enemies with your rain of vortex grenades. Whether you're looking to finish off some Grandmaster Nightfalls or just grind out some bounties or the Embaru engine puzzle, this build will make any activity a joy to play through as you drop bubbles and pop champions with ease. Of course, if you need a picture of the build, there's one on screen, along with a dim link in the description for easy copying and saving. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed the build or video, be sure to like and maybe subscribe to help out the channel. If you got questions, I love chatting in the comments, but other than that, I have been FreakyDude99, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, everyone.